Hey, 102ers, what happened yesterday? Did your favorite teams win or lose? So, did the Eagles beat the Chiefs? If so, did the Giants or the Cowboys win? Does the NFC East have one undefeated team, two 500 teams, and one team yet to taste victory? Worst case, we have three 500 teams and one winless team. I hope that one winless team is the Cowboys. Regardless, that doesn't matter in this class. Let's chat about English now, shall we? Okay, Unit 1 is in the past, and we are now starting Unit 2. We'll start with a review of this week's announcement and a little reminder. This is the announcement page. Because Brightspace is not the easiest thing in the world to navigate, I have worked very hard to have everything that you need here in one place. All links, all documents, everything. You just need to read through it, down here, preview. Hey, this is coming up in week 7. Hey, here's the directions and sample that I'm going to be talking about today. Oh, look, there are a few things to look at and a YouTube video. Oh, look, there's an optional thing, which means you don't have to do it, which basically means none of you will. Then we have the announcements, or the assignments, excuse me. It's due on this date, and here is the assignment link. Everything is there, okay? So you just need to read through it and click where necessary. The video is right here. And it has a handy-dandy chapter listing after it, so you don't actually have to watch the whole video, but you can center on the parts that most interest you. I work pretty hard on these each week, so when I get people telling me I'm not clear or I didn't explain that, my immediate question is, did you watch the video? Anyway, there it is. Now, if you'll do me the honor of going over here and clicking on the Master Course Schedule, you will see that I have already scrolled down to Week 4. We are in Unit 2. Oh, it's great, isn't it? As you can see, that there are 3 documents here, plus the sample, which I have also linked in the schedule, if that's what you want to see it. And we have an optional activity here. And then we have one minor assignment for the week, pretty quick and easy. Your discussion board, okay? That's it. Will this be the week I finally go less than 15 minutes? God, I hope so. I'm really tired of these damn long videos. So let's quickly check out this first document and get right to it. In what is a comparative research essay? There it is. Honestly, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. This is a page to explain the Unit 2 paper, and this is how to do it. We're talking a comparative research essay, and I'm really happy because a few years ago when they actually changed all the courses so everybody's trying to teach the same thing at the same time, which is kind of stupid, they actually changed the Unit 2 essay to what's called an informative essay, which didn't make any sense because it wasn't. It was always a comparing perspectives essay, so at least this now is close enough to the truth that I don't have to spend an hour explaining what an informative essay is and is not. I can just say, hey, we're talking about a comparative research essay. So basically, what you're going to do is dig really deep into a minimum of 2 sides of your argument. Obviously, the one side you already agree with, and the other side that you really don't agree with. For some of you, the one versus the other is very easy because you have a binary argument. For others, you have a much more nuanced argument. So you might think outside the box and find a strong side, which is one of many. In any case, you'll be looking at the overall perspective rather than the specific. That's always a word that trips me up. Specific. The specific sources this time. This is the key difference from the first paper, by the way. And then you reassemble the pieces into an understandable argument. So as you want to go through here, you can actually see, you know, hey, here's a cute little thing here, and you click on the button, and it really doesn't do anything. Oh, look, you can click here, and it doesn't actually do anything there either. I've always hated these thing links because they're just cute, and they don't actually do anything. So what are we doing then? What are we putting together? Well, it's called synthesis. There are a lot of building blocks that you can put together in any way that you want, and not everyone will put them together in exactly the same way unless they're following very specific instructions on that topic, which is why I tell all of my classes, it doesn't matter if you're doing the same topic as somebody else. You are not them. They are not you. You will be working with different sources in different ways with different ideas because you're different people. Don't believe me? How about thinking about Legos? When you get a brand new Lego set, probably 99% of you will empty out the box and build the intended kit from the instructions included. They end up being a boat, or a castle, or a spaceship, or the Daily Bugle. Okay, perfect. You look at it for a while, you play with it for a little while, and then what? Well, some people, they're kind of weird, and they put the pieces, they glue them together and put them up on a wall somewhere and just hold them there for the rest of their lives. Everybody else is kind of normal, takes them apart. Maybe we'll rebuild the exact same thing for the most part. We're going to say, hey, I can take this apart, and it was a castle, but now it's a boat. I can take the spaceship apart, and now it's Darth Vader. The pieces will remain the same, but our own ideas and our own creativity let us put the exact same pieces together in a brand new way, creating a brand new result. That is synthesis, and that is what you're going to be doing in this paper. So after all that, you can go down here and you can check out the department sample. Okay, click through here, and hey, look, there it is. Woohoo! Look at it all you want. You can actually download a copy right here. It's got a PDF. It's got the regular one. You can take a look at the requirements, and it's all right here. I'm going to show you what I want you to see because, why? I'm a giver. You also should go to the announcement. Hey, look at that. Click on the provided link under preview. Hey, look, preview. Hey, look, there it is. By clicking on that, oh, hold on. There we go. We'll get this. It's the second time I've done that. Again, I'm not going to go over this in full today because it's not due for another 4 weeks. But I wanted you to have access to it so you can see what the end result will be. It's a 4 to 6 double-spaced page, and you'll be adding new sources to it. Not the 2 you've already used, but 2 additional sources, which for you math majors means that you will have 4 sources altogether now. Look through it, figure out what might be worrying and confusing you, then email me. I'm all too happy to discuss it because, hey, I'm going to make a big deal of it in 2 weeks, really quickly. 4 to 6 pages, 2 new sources that meet the CRAP test, which means 5 years or less, 2021 or later. APA formatted, double-spaced, 12-point font, structure matches below. I'm going to show that to you. Third person for the vast majority of the essay. You can use I or me or my in the synthesis section. Do not use second person only. Do not use second person period, not only. No use or yours. And also avoid first person plural, which is we and our. You're going to need a single paragraph introduction, a background paragraph, 2 comparing perspectives paragraphs, which we will talk about in the coming weeks, an exploratory synthesis, which, by the way, my friends, this is the most important paragraph, in my opinion, of the entire semester. And then finally, a conclusion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, 4 to 6 pages. And what will it look like? Well, down here on page 3, you can start to see it. I did not write this sample. It's actually a little short of the 4 pages full. It's like 3 3/4, so I actually would dock points for that. But it shows you the APA formatting, shows the introduction, the background information, comparing perspectives 1, comparing perspectives 2, your synthesis paragraph, and a really short conclusion that I probably would tell you needs more detail and needs more information to truly tie it together. As you can see down here, we have 2 references in APA format alphabetically listed. How wonderful is that? So once again, if you want to look through the details right now and the samples, I fully encourage you to look at the department sample. That's great. My packet, even though I didn't write the sample essay there, is actually very well put together because here it explains everything down here, but in a single place where all you have to do is print that document out. Sound good? I thought so. Let's go back over here, and we can see that our next document, the last one we're going to talk about today, because we've already talked about SIRS, is finding your synthesis question. So, clicking on that takes us here. And it's actually very important. There's a need for you to learn the difference between what's called a question of fact and a question of opinion. Now, the questions of fact, I like to refer to them as closed questions. Questions of opinion, I like to refer to as open questions. A question of fact, or a closed question, is a question where the answer is brief and definitive. What time is it? What color is that? What type of car is that? Who is up to bat? All quick and easy answers. A question of opinion, or an open question, is something that we can answer and have that debated for hours or days or months or decades or centuries. For example, what happens after we die? Is there life out there in the vast reaches of space? Will the Philadelphia Flyers ever win another Stanley Cup? Sadly, that last answer breaks my heart a little bit. It's really tough being a Philadelphia sports fan. You young people have no idea the decades of heartbreak we old war horses have endured over the 5 major sports in Philadelphia. And yes, I'm including the Union. Regardless, once you get the idea of which question is which, you can start to build your synthesis question. That is, a question which introduces your argument to the masses and is specific enough to not cause a lot of confusion. You have to avoid the vagueness and the direct answer and be a bit more open-minded about the information. So, does wearing a mask reduce the spread of viruses? Well, guess what? Yes, it's been scientifically and medically proven that it does. Should countries enforce a nationwide mask mandate is different now, because now you're talking about politics, you're talking about social structure, you're talking about medicine, you're talking about legality. There's a ton of things to bring up. This is the more ideal question, the question of opinion or the open question, okay? So, take a look at this. It'll show you how to make your question more interesting, questions of fact and question of opinion, how to find your synthesis question. You can actually browse sources related to your topic. You can skim the sources to get the gist. You can write a big list of questions of opinion. There's nothing wrong with brainstorming, folks. And choose the best question for you. Figure out which ones actually work. How much U.S. manufacturing is outsourced? That's a closed question. We can figure that out with one good source. Would outsourcing require regulations bolster the U.S. economy? Now, you're asking for interpretations and opinions, okay? So that all works nicely. Going back to the schedule, you can see the using sirs is there, but like I already said, we've already talked about that in week 2. So let's end up going to the question of opinion or fact exercise / quiz, which is an optional activity. So all you would have to do is go through this and basically figure out if it's a question of fact, and if you can, transform it into a question of opinion. If you decide to do this, you may email me and I will tell you whether you're right or wrong, or why you're right or why you're wrong, because honestly, I'm going to show you the first one here. Does youth football need stricter safety standards? Guess what? This is a question of opinion because you're asking somebody why. So you click it, it tells us what it is. If you said, are any youth football programs in the United States dealing with stricter safety standards, that would be a question of fact. You could find that somewhere, okay? So, let's talk about the homework now. It's another discussion board. I actually really like discussion boards. You wake up as a little bit as a student, and if you take it seriously, I can actually see the wheels turning in your head. I can also see who doesn't give a damn. It's a win-win for me. So what you're going to do here is, using the same topic that you are using already, you're going to answer these 6 bulleted points right here. Okay, you're going to answer in paragraph form. I do not want to see bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3, bullet point 4, bullet point 5, bullet point 6. I want to see all of this in 1 or 2 paragraphs, okay? I have provided another helpful sample for you below, so we'll look at that in just a second, but I want to know how you're diving deeper into your topic. I want to know about your understanding. So once you see these 6 bullet points, you're going to go down and take a look at mine. Oh, look, there it is. I actually wrote 3 paragraphs. Ooh, I'm a suck up, aren't I? Well, I'm also an English teacher, so I can't really say I can't. 541 words. I mean, just randomly, that's almost 2 full pages double-spaced, okay? So here we have my diving into my topic, okay? Again, don't reply to the sample. And then when you're done that, you're going to go back and you are going to answer these 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet points in at least 2 of your peers' responses. I wanted to make sure that you could see this because the last thing I want you to do is just to write 1 sentence and then wonder why you didn't get full points in the response section, okay? These 4 bullet points are helpful for every response so I can see who's paying attention and who is doing this to be helpful. And that's the assignment. If you have any questions, email me before the due date, okay? And that's the week, folks. Hopefully it's not stressful for you. Fall is falling, it's getting darker and cooler, and things tend to mellow out during this time. Until then, please remember that I want you to email me with questions when you have them. Don't wait until the last possible moment. I live for questions, so get them to me. I hope everyone's favorite teams won this week. I mean, as long as your favorite team is the Eagles. And good luck with the rest of the classes. See ya.